Thailand is becoming more expensive to enter with a new tourism fee, more costly to travel through due to the global energy shock, and in some regions increasingly difficult to experience as PM 2.5 levels surge in the north. I'm Cal, and this is your Thailand update. To understand what's happening inside Thailand, we have to start outside of it. The conflict in the Middle East has evolved into a broader energy shock, and with nearly 20% of global oil flows passing through the Strait of Hormuz, the shutdown of the corridor has tightened global supply and pushed prices higher. And that impact is being felt immediately across Asia. The Philippines has declared a state of emergency to secure supply and control hoarding. Myanmar has moved into rationing, and even countries like Japan and South Korea are beginning to feel pressure across supply chains. Thailand sits inside that same system, importing roughly 50% of its energy from the Middle East. The government recently lifted its cap on fuel prices, ending a subsidy system that was costing nearly 3 billion baht per day. And diesel quickly jumped by 6 baht to nearly 39 per liter. This came after weeks of panic buying at lower prices as hoarding took hold in smaller cities and rural areas, which has now led to localized shortages throughout the country. As the crisis broke out, daily demand jumped from roughly 67 to 84 million liters, effectively overwhelming supply chains. In major hubs like Bangkok or Phuket, supply remains stable. But in smaller cities and rural areas, shortages and rationing have become far more common. If you're traveling, remember to keep an eye on the news and be prepared for any disruptions. Meanwhile, prices are rising across the board. Jet fuel has risen sharply and airlines are reacting quickly. Bangkok Airways announced fare increases of nearly 20% for domestic flights, while Cathay Pacific out of Hong Kong is adding a 30% fuel surcharge. And most other airlines globally are taking similar measures. On the ground, it's the same pattern. Transport operators in island destinations are already adjusting prices. The Pattaya to Koh Larn ferry recently announced a price increase from 30 to 40 baht, while Bangkok's famous canal boats are raising ticket prices from a minimum of 11 to 13 baht. And while these increases may appear small, they start to add up as price increases of 10 to 20% occur throughout the economy. The government has pivoted away from broad subsidies after the finance minister warned that continuing support could trigger a financial crisis. And with no end in sight to the conflict, prices will likely continue to climb alongside potential shortages in goods and reductions in services. Meanwhile, the Tourism Authority of Thailand anticipates a sharp 30% reduction in arrivals for the key upcoming Songkran holiday period, which is typically one of the busiest times of the year. And domestic tourism is slowing due to localized fuel shortages. And all of this is putting pressure on an already strained economy. Facing these declines, the Thai government has announced that the long-delayed 300 baht tourism tax will finally be rolled out. The fee will apply to foreign arrivals by air, while the land and sea version is still on hold. There's still no clear decision on how the fee will be collected, with suggestions that it may require a separate app registration. And although the fee itself is fairly minimal, it comes shortly after the airports of Thailand increased the international departure tax by nearly 50%. And alongside the sharp increases in fuel and flight prices, all these additional charges start to add up. And there are additional reports that some ATMs have quietly raised fees on withdrawals using foreign cards, from 250 to 350 baht. There is one partial offset to all these added costs. Global energy is priced in dollars, and with the higher prices, importers need to buy more dollars to procure the same volume of fuel. And this ultimately puts pressure on local currencies. The Thai baht has already weakened to around 33 per dollar, and the Bank of Thailand anticipates a continued decline closer to 35 if the conflict continues. So even with the higher prices, it may not actually be much more expensive to take a trip. And lower hotel occupancy rates should ultimately lead to a decline in accommodation costs. But if you're traveling at this time, it may be best to avoid the north. Chiang Mai has ranked among the most polluted cities in the world in recent days, as crop burning and forest fires push PM 2.5 levels higher. This is a seasonal issue which typically lasts through April with relatively poor air quality. Meanwhile, across the country, we're firmly in the hot season. Heat indexes have climbed into the upper 30s and low 40s. If you're visiting at this time, it's best to avoid full outdoor daytime itineraries. Make sure to drink plenty of water and take regular breaks. Heat stroke and dehydration are extremely common, and they often creep up on visitors. And of course, despite all the news, Songkran is coming. This is the Thai New Year festival, which runs from April 13th to 15th. But in reality, it operates more like a rolling event, and you can follow it across the country for more than a week. It's the world's largest water fight, and it's definitely a bucket list experience. And even with the anticipated reduction in tourism numbers, you can expect very large crowds. I have a full Songkran guide, including where to go, what you need, and what you need to be careful about. If you're visiting, I highly recommend it. It's linked in the description. And as always, I'll keep you up to date on any new developments. Have a safe and enjoyable day.